live from Los Angeles.
Last night, it was one of the best nights of basketball we've seen this season. 15 game-tying or go-ahead buckets in the final 75 seconds. We're going to break down the tape, show you exactly how it unfolded. Plus, Victor Wembanyama, he keeps doing things we have never seen before. But what does the best version of Wemby really look like? It's a good thing Brian Windhorst is here. And Nico Harrison out as Mavericks general manager. We've got every angle covered, the what, the why, and how we got to this point. NBA Today starts right now. That is where we begin today's show with the news out of Dallas, and we're joined by our senior insider, Shams Charania. So, Shams, how did the Mavericks decide that now was the time to let go of general manager Nico Harrison?
Like at the start of the season, the Mavericks felt was a tailspin, a 3-8 start. If it was flipped, if we were looking at 8-3, Nico Harrison would not be fired. But he set the standards of competing for a championship. He said after making the Luka Doncic trade that time will tell about whether he was right. He said even in April, after the Kyrie Irving injury that he was going to miss most of the season with, that they're going to have championship contention ability this season. It's been neither. They've been one of the worst teams in the NBA. And the Mavericks and owner Patrick Dumont took the first step in personally accepting accountability of the potential mistake that they made and agreeing and admitting the mistake that they made in trading Luka Doncic away 9 months ago. And as one source told me today, listening to our fans and what the fans have wanted has been an outcry. And so that process starts now. They can't unwind it to get Luka Doncic back, but the start of taking accountability has begun in Dallas.
Okay, so they're flipping to a new page here within the Dallas Mavericks organization. And Shams, oftentimes there's videos that are circulating online that we sort of put to the side. They don't mean much. But right now, there's a video online of Patrick Dumont, and there's a fan who's wearing a Luka Doncic jersey. And there's a little bit more to this story. What exactly is going on there?
Malika, within this conversation with the fan and this interaction that Patrick Dumont, the Mavericks governor, had is, I'm told he told the fan that we're going to be taking accountability. We made a mistake, and we're going to do the right thing. And that obviously ended up being Nico Harrison being fired here Tuesday morning. And I'm told Patrick Dumont held meetings all day Tuesday and told staffers he's accountable as well, admitting he's responsible as well for what's happened. And that was giving Nico Harrison the green light. It was Nico Harrison's trade. It was his idea. He's the one that came up with this, but he somehow convinced Patrick Dumont got alignment internally on executing this. And Patrick Dumont took accountability that he was the one that was also liable with giving the green light. And now the unwinding process begins for the Mavericks.
So this fan sort of becomes symbolic for the larger Mavericks fan base and what Patrick Dumont is saying that he is going to do moving forward. Shams, thank you very much for that insight. Please do not go too far. You mentioned the statement that Patrick Dumont released. This is what it said in part, right? Quote, no one associated with the Mavericks organization is happy with the start of what we all believed would be a promising season. You have high expectations for the Mavericks, and I share them with you. When the results do not meet expectations, it is my responsibility to act. I understand the profound impact that these difficult last several months have had. Our goal is to return to winning basketball to Dallas and to win championships. Now, it's been 282 days, and every Dallas Mavericks fan has been counting, since Luka was traded to Los Angeles in the middle of the night. And since then, the two teams, they've been at the center of this trade and have gone in two different directions, right? Dallas has played in 44 games since that deal, won just 16 of them. Meanwhile, the Lakers, they made the postseason. They're 30-16 in their regular season games during that same span. And of course, hindsight is 2020, but it's hard not to start to compare the start Luka's gotten off to with the year Anthony Davis has had. AD, of course, has been injured. He's averaging 20 points, 10 boards. On the surface, that's fine, until you realize Luka's putting up 38 and 8. And you mentioned the injuries. Well, this season, yes, but also last season, the injury bug bit too. Since arriving in Dallas, Davis has missed 30 of the 44 Mavericks games, and as for Luka, he's played in 35 since that deal. And there's no better trio to help dive into this decision further than our senior writer, Brian Windhorst, our do-it-all analyst, Shanae Agumake, and our reporter covering the Dallas Mavericks, Tim McMahon. Brian, I am going to start with you here. What's been the reaction that you've been hearing from around the league and within the organization?
The Mavericks had to do this deal today, not this deal, but this move today to save their brand. They were suffering deeply within their own market, and it was negatively affecting their players. The idea that this trade was controversial, we knew from the second after Shams hit that tweet last February. But the way that it's been managed, particularly by Nico, has been terrible. The idea of trading Luka Doncic is a controversial one, but you can make a basketball case for it. I don't think it's a winning case. You can make a case for it. What Nico has said to sell it to the fan base has been a complete failure from the day after it happened, and that is why it got to this position.
And I want to dive into what he said, because Nico Harrison not only put pressure on himself by making this move, but he also induced it by what he said. He said, I'll be judged by wins and losses. They're currently 3-8. He said, we're going to build a culture of winning. They're the lowest scoring team in the NBA right now. Fortune favors the bold. Well, right now, it doesn't look like fortune is on his side. And overall, in my experience on the court for basketball decisions, this has been the most catastrophic, probably, series of unfortunate events as it pertains to someone's decision-making. And I know that there are some circumstances out of his control. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, their availability. But still, you're supposed to go out there and give your team a better shot by constructing a roster that works. And right now, having Cooper Flagg play the point guard position, albeit knowing that they're trying to make parallels to other stars that have grown quickly. Seeing just a number of them not doing as well as they should have been to start the year, this makes sense, like you said, to try to save the season and get the fans back and, bought in.
But that's stunning. What you're saying, Brian, is that public perception got so bad that the Dallas Mavericks felt that they needed to make a move.
It was affecting the way their players were playing.
Was it? Is that what was happening, Tim, around the organization, the feeling around them the past 9 months?
Malika, P.J. Washington steps to the free throw line in the fourth quarter last night. They are clinging to a one-possession lead, and the fire Nico chants get started. They continued every Mavericks trip to the free throw line thereafter. Those have been going strong essentially since early February when that trade was made. There are more Luka jerseys in the audience, as you saw, even Lakers Luka jerseys, than there are Cooper Flagg. Nico Harrison was the focal point for Mavericks fans. That was not healthy. That was not productive. The Mavericks players felt that they were at a home court disadvantage. These people don't want us to win, one player said. And he was right, because that's how badly they wanted Nico Harrison to be fired. They wanted him to, and it's not bringing Luka back, but this does at least give the fans a chance to say, hey, Luka's not coming back. We have Cooper Flagg, and the franchise a chance to pivot into the Cooper Flagg era, not this 3 to 4 year championship window that Nico thought he created.
I think you will see some players in the league come out in defense of Nico Harrison. We've already seen it a little bit. Draymond Green came out in his podcast yesterday before this firing and said that because, in a vacuum, there is some unfairness to it that you're firing a guy with his two best players on the sideline. Sure. But this was about relieving pressure. Like, it was being difficult for the Mavericks to live in their own city. It was being difficult for Patrick Dumont. He is in the middle of a game. By the way, Giannis is in town. It's in kind of an important game. The owner of the team is spending time during the game trying to explain to a fan who's furious. And like you said, Malika, extremely symbolic. Everybody in that arena cared more about what Patrick Dumont had to say than they did about this game that involved it down to the last second with one of the biggest stars in the game. And that right there, because that's a reality Patrick Dumont was living in, he had to do something to relieve the pressure. Typically, you would say you would not want to answer to the mob.
Right.
In this case, I'm not sure they had a choice.
In the short term, the question is, ultimately, what does the firing of Nico Harrison do? But this is just step one. There's a lot of steps that the Dallas Mavericks organization needs to do to rebuild this trust with fans and this love, this deep love that they have for Dallas Mavericks basketball. There's questions about what's next. We're going to get to them a little bit later in the show, but I want to turn now to a developing story in Philadelphia because Joel Embiid, he's listed as out tonight against the Celtics with right knee soreness. He will be evaluated by doctors. Now, remember, this is not the knee that Embiid has had trouble with over the last couple of seasons. He's played in 6 of a possible 10 games this year. Bringing back Shams here, how concerning is this latest news for Philadelphia?
Look, it's concerning enough for both players. Will be meeting, both Joel Embiid and Paul George will be meeting with their doctors and their shared surgeon, Dr. Jonathan Glashow, tonight before the game. And it's right knee soreness for Joel Embiid. It's the opposite knee, like you just said, Malika, than the one that was surgically repaired in the offseason. But Joel Embiid will be examined by doctors tonight, and the Sixers will get a better understanding of what this is. He's had that left knee issue over the last year or so, couple years. And so could this be overcompensation? The Sixers will be finding out shortly. But Paul George has also been out for this team to start the season. My understanding is he's getting closer and closer. And it's going to be about whether he can get his leg strength back to where they want it to be, where they need it to be for him to make a full return.
Yeah, because Philadelphia has shown some bright spots with their young players this year, but they need their stars back in order to contend and even compete, really, in the Eastern Conference. Shams, we're keeping you busy today, so please do not go too far. We need you for the rest of the show. Still to come on NBA, 6 threes in the win. Now, this season, his attempts are way down, right? Only 4 a game, which is less than half than what he was shooting from deep last season. Is this the best version, Brian?
So what's happened over the last week is teams are sending double teams at Victor because they know he's going into the paint, and he's had a little bit of issues with that. So in this game, he changes up. And look at this. He says, there's a screen coming up. He goes, no, don't come up here, Harrison Barnes. I don't want a double team. I'm going to play ISO basketball. That's him making an adjustment. Now, I don't think he should go back to primarily shooting threes. But if he can get an ISO situation like this where he likes his foot position, do it. It's the mixing up of the game. He doesn't want to be shooting too many threes like last season. He doesn't want to be shooting always in the paint like he was sometimes this season. He's learning to mix up his game. He just defeated the Bulls' game plan there. Drill the dagger.
This is probably one of the most rapid developments that we've seen of a player of his caliber, of his size, of his skill set ever. And I don't know, maybe because I'm hungry, I think about how Thanksgiving is right around the corner. We all know he's the main event, he's the main entree, but that stat line is truly stuffing. It's stuffing.
Thank
you. Thank you.
All right. Last night was an insane evening of hoops. Victor Wembanyama, absolutely ridiculous. But today, the biggest story in the NBA, the Mavericks firing of Nico Harrison. Still to come, after Dallas hits the reset button, where does it lead to next? Tim McMahon, Bobby, they're here. And another wild finish in Motor City. We've got Jalen Duren on the show to tell us what's clicking for the Pistons, how he and Cade have built.
This deal materialized in the shadows. Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, LeBron James had no idea this was coming.
This was the biggest trade in NBA history.
LeBron has dreamed about playing with Luka Doncic for years.
Dallas Mavericks, clearly you lost all faith in Luka Doncic.
Dallas won it for the now, and the Lakers won it for the future.
Well, let's talk about the now, because Luka Doncic, former Maverick, now with the Lakers, back in action last night in Charlotte, Shanae. And minutes into the first, Luka.
Okay, that play should tell you everything you need to know. That play and the wink. He was like cheeky Luka yesterday.
You like how I was trying to set it up all that? You're like, yeah, this tells you everything you need to know. Doncic, the running floater, banks it in. 21 first-half points for Doncic, his 7th 20-point half this season, Brian.
Well, when he is comfortable, you are in trouble, and he was very clearly comfortable.
When he's smiling, when he's winking, when he's having little non-shot makes, contests.
How does he always create space? He doesn't even move that fast, Sinead, but he creates space every time.
Created space here, sneaks inside for the jam. Doncic fired up after a rare dunk. He had 38 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 35 or more points in 5 of 7 games this season, by the way. Now, the Mavericks, they hosted the Bucks last night in what Giannis called multiple times a must-win. I do think this may have been Cooper's best game of the season.
That was an incredible play. He got the rebound and went down and looked for that shot. He didn't even react. That was the best moment of his career to this point.
Next Bucks possession, Ryan Rollins, who's been great for them this year, drives to the basket, finishes the layup. Bucks take the
traffic.
And then the Mavs inbounding here. Flag falls, and Kuzma steals it and dunks.
Uses the opportunity.
Can't make the gamble there. So here's the last chance for the Dallas Mavericks. P.J. Washington gets the offensive rebound, shoots the 3, and is fouled by Giannis. Giannis can't believe it. So Washington's at the free throw line, and here is what it sounded like. Yep, that's right. Fire Nico chant. So after Washington misses the second free throw, the Mavs fan base were chanting, and he misses this. Mavs can't get the rebound. The Bucks go on to get the win. And that loss was the final straw for Patrick Dumont and the rest of the Mavericks ownership to fire Nico Harrison as the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. That happened earlier today. Now, in 4 seasons as GM in Dallas, Nico was the driving force behind the trading of Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. But he also oversaw Jalen Brunson leaving in free agency, as well as acquiring Kyrie Irving. And that helped propel them to the 2024 NBA Finals. Now, you don't need to read all this. Just know that Nico was busy in his tenure as GM. GM, but it did come at a price. The Mavericks triggered the second apron when D'Angelo Russell was signed to that tax mid-level exception. Plus, Dallas doesn't have full control of much of their future draft capital. They only have 2 available first-round picks to trade in the next 7 years. So take a photo of that, read it later. Back with us here on NBA Today is our senior reporter, Tim McMahon here. 3-8 was not the start, McMahon, to the season that the Mavericks ownership had envisioned after acquiring Cooper Flagg with that first overall pick. So why have the Dallas Mavericks made this move today?
Howdy again, Malika. Why didn't they make this move last summer? I mean, the relationship with the fans was not going to be repaired. Nico Harrison was always going to be the guy who traded Luka Doncic. And look, you want to talk about the benefit of hindsight. Hindsight at the time of the trade was Luka had just led the league in scoring, averaged almost a triple-double, and took your franchise to the NBA Finals. And by the way, he was just about to enter his prime. That was something that was never going to be forgiven. It was simply a matter of time even entering this season. And then they get off to a 3-8 start. They are one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA. Oh, by the way, while Luka's leading the league in scoring, Nico Harrison could not continue to be the focal point for this fan base. Time to turn the page, time to focus on Cooper Flagg, time to focus on building around him. And as you mentioned, there are some built-in challenges because of the picks you gave up while successfully building a contender around Luka Doncic.
Right. So they gave up all of these assets. They had this fan base that was really tuned in to this organization for years and years and years, through the Dirk years, the Luka years. But that's sort of started to change here. As you can see, they finally had a change in their sellouts. 24 years consecutively, that was snapped this year, October 29th of 2025. And that, I just think, symbolizes the disconnect from this team and their fan base. So joining us now is our front office insider, Bobby Marks. Bobby, what happens now? This feels like step one. What do the Mavericks need to do next?
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, Matt Riccardi, who is the interim GM right now, I hired him in Brooklyn, and he was my assistant there. So knowing Matt, I think there's a short and there's a long-term approach as far as how you look at this. The short term is that you're going to continue evaluating the roster. Fortunately, 6 out of your next 7 games are at home, and hopefully that you're going to get Anthony Davis back here soon. I do think there still is a priority, Malika, to try to address that point guard situation. We saw D'Angelo Russell start. We saw Brandon Williams start last night. How do you fix that leading up until December 15th? I think the biggest question for me, and you outlined it perfectly, where they are at the second apron this year, where they are with the draft equity moving forward or lack of. Does Matt and Michael Finley, who are the co-interim GMs, have authority to go out and make a big move when we get closer to the February 5th trade deadline? Remember, 90% of players will be eligible starting December 15th. I'm not saying a Luka Doncic type trade, but do they have authority to shake up this roster over the next couple months here?
Do they, Tim? I mean, when you say a big trade, what I think of and what I think Dallas Mavericks fans may be asking, is Anthony Davis someone who's on the roster? Is that the question that's being asked around Dallas right now, Tim?
I think that's the question that's going to be asked as Patrick Dumont is meeting with Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi. Also, as Patrick Dumont is interviewing other potential candidates to take the job on a full-time basis. Is there a quick fix? Let's be honest. Probably not, okay? You have to take a long-term view. You were gifted, 1.8% lottery chance gifted, a potential generational talent, an 18-year-old Cooper Flagg. The long-term view, building around Cooper Flagg, has to be the priority over any quick fixes. That 3 to 4 year window got fired today. Okay, that's gone. It never really opened. It's absolutely closed now. The long-term has to be the priority. And if you're prioritizing the long-term, your question, do you explore the trade market for Anthony Davis, has to be asked and has to be discussed.
Let's talk about 3 knowns, okay? One known is that AD and Kyrie Irving have basically not played together at all.
Yeah.
Basically relative seconds they've played together. So not only do we really not know how they match up, we don't really know what they can do this season. We don't know when Kyrie's going to come back, okay? That's number one. Number 2, as Bobby laid out, the Mavericks control their draft in just 2 of the next 7 years.
Right.
But one of them is 2026. And the third thing that we know is that this is a generational draft.
Yep.
So This is not really a conversation necessarily have in November, but as this season goes along, as you watch NBA Today, what you're going to be hearing more and more of is teams beginning to struggle with what they should do with their roster looking at this draft. And I now have the Mavericks in that basket. That decision is probably not going to get made today. That decision has some unknowns because of Kyrie's health, but they are going to be a team because this is actually a draft pick that they control, and they've got an 18-year-old that is their future, who the dream would be you could put somebody next to him that is going to be on the plate of who's ever making big decisions later this season.
And you have the parent of that 18-year-old draft pick, a generational talent in Cooper Flagg, reposting things on social media about how he should not be needing to listen to fire Nico Harrison chants as he's trying to get his footing underneath him in the NBA. Now that is not going to be the case. They have fired Nico, but the decisions now are only beginning for the Dallas Mavericks, who, like you said, are having to say, okay, we're done with this 3-4 year window thing. Who is going to be the players that we need to move forward with now in order to build a contender potentially later? Gentlemen, there's a lot to get to, and you said it, Brian, we're going to be unpacking this for the next several days, but I know what we should unpack right now, and that is some highlights from around the league. Our big three last night. We had such awesome action. We saw the buzzer beaters, but how about the dunks, Shanae?
Yes.
Coming in number 3, should we give the rookie some love?
Hey, Rick.
Walter K. Layton Jr. He finds fellow rookie Ace Bailey.
Yeah, reverse backwards, clean.
That's called dunking your way open.
That is true. That is true. I like it. Double clutch.
By the way, the Wolves are hot. I think they've won 5 of 6.
Number 2, how about Slam Whitmore?
Yeah.
Going baseline for the huge two-handed slam-and-jammer here.
Oh, man. I saw this one. I was like, what? Yeah. Had a body. A baby body.
A baby body.
Yeah, you know, like, you didn't drop to the floor, but like,
itty-bitty.
That was
all right, well, that's number 2.
dunkers.
Of course, we're doing a double whammy here. When you have a dunk and a game winner, that's going to be the number 1 play of the night.
Yes.
Andrew Wiggins, we go back. Bienvenido a Miami. I still don't know how he was.
Perfect play, and I know that's like the Cavs' nightmare.
He was open by 8 to 10 feet on all sides.
Like timing, pass, everything to perfection.
And
just kiss.
The face of every single person on the Cavaliers, knowing. All right, well, that got our producers thinking of the best last fraction of a second tip-in game winners. We're going to start with Jimmy Butler, 2023. Game tied at 95. Gabe Vincent.
Oh, again.
Finds Butler on the inbounds pass.
Value,
Something
baby.
about Miami. You know it. One of the best nicknames. 2021
Correct.
Western Conference Finals, Game 2. 0.09 seconds left.
That screen right there.
This is all you have time for. Chris Paul, he was sick at the time. He's sitting at home screaming from his couch. And finally, 2017. 0.06 seconds left. Grizzlies Suns.
It's the physicality of the dunk.
Dragon Bender. When's the last time we said that name on this show? Inbounds pass to Tyson Chandler, the slam, and the game. All right, speaking of exciting basketball, Detroit basketball. Shanae, you mouthed it with me. You got to say it with me.
Detroit basketball.
By the way, tell him he just got dunked on.
Guess who's joining us next?
I'm Jalen Dorn, and you're watching NBA Today.
Cunningham lobbing it up. With the Thunder is finished. Seconds on the drive. Put it up. Good luck blocking that out.
Season, the Pistons have been in first place in 18 years. They kept it rolling last night. Let's check in. Cade Cunningham and the Pistons hosting the Wizards early in the third quarter. The Pistons up by 4. Jalen Duren, watch him here, corrals the offensive board. He's been a monster here, Shanae.
Unbelievable. I feel like Detroit might be my honorary team. You know how we always pick a team that we're rooting for because they play the right way and they've got a superstar in the making? That's that guy right there, Cade Cunningham.
What you're going to see in this highlight, Brian, is a lot of Cade Cunningham shooting as well.
He shot the ball 45 times. But they were missing some guys. It was the guys were tired. He had to do it.
He did have 46 points. He also had 12 rebounds, 11 assists.
He had a great assist we're going to see in a minute.
Well, the Wizards up 3 here. C.J. McCollum drives by the defender, looking spry.
Yeah, a little fine wine there.
40 piece. 40 piece.
42, 6 rebounds.
All right, watch this pass. There's a 7-foot guy in front of him. Just go past it.
And then Dennis Jenkins.
That's a two-way guy ready to shoot. Ready hands, Shanae.
Hey, keep him up.
It wasn't the last time that we would see that, Shanae.
Held that follow through.
Just over 1 minute left in overtime. The Pistons down 2 here. Cunningham to Robinson.
Yeah.
Robinson nails the 3.
Yeah.
All right, so the Pistons
Look
up by
at the
1
passion
now.
in Detroit.
You're seeing it. Paul Reed misses the free throw. McCollum gets the rebound, pushes it down the court. McCollum drives.
Oh.
The runner.
Man, that
doesn't get it off in time and misses. The Pistons win 137-135. How many shots did you say that Cade took?
4, 5.
4, 5. He was on one. He became the first player.
A lot of dots there.
His teammates must really trust him and love him.
10 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 steals in a game. Since steals became official, it's safe to say he had the green light.
Lime green.
45 shots, the most in a game in Pistons history. His 31 misses, they're also the most. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on this. The Pistons' young duo of Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. They are leading the way for the top team. Yes, you heard that right. In the East early on this season. They each have had 7 double-doubles, which is the most for any duo in the league this year. And half of that dynamic duo joins me now. Jalen, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us here on NBA Today.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. I mean, we got 2 hard-fought close wins here. Over 77 minutes played in 2 days. A little extra time in the ice bath today. How are we feeling?
Yeah, definitely a little extra time in the ice tub, but it's been good. I'm feeling good.
It's been so much fun to watch. You've been a beast, for lack of a better word, on the boards all year long here. You added 7 offensive rebounds last night, 2 off of Cade Cunningham misses. Have you ever been a part of someone taking 45 shots in a game?
No, I don't think so. That might have been the first, but, I mean, we live and die with whatever decision he makes, man. That's why he's our leader. He's gotten us to this point.
I mean, is it time, do you say to JB, hey, can I get 40 shots up in a game next time?
No, I don't look at it like that, man. I just do my job to the best of my abilities.
Well, you've been doing your job to the best of your ability, because a big reason why your team is rolling is the pick-and-roll combo you got with Cade. What's been the process over the last few years building that chemistry with him?
I think it's a mixture between the bond we have and that we've been able to grow off the court. Just, you know, we became close friends and just getting to know each other, you know, personally. I think that's helped our chemistry on the court, being able to talk to one another, being able to communicate through any tough decisions, any, you know, tough situations, high intense situations in the game. And honestly, I think IQ-wise, we both have high IQ. We both, you know, want to make the right play and the right read at all times throughout the game, and it just, you know, it comes together.
It's been amazing to watch. It's been a heck of a journey. I think back on that 28-game losing streak you all had, and how that formed. I mean, you almost at some point, I imagine, you get used to losing, which is something you never want to have as a player. How good is that to have behind you, and how does that motivate you?
It motivates me every day. Just seeing where we started out, or where I started out, and seeing where we are now, I mean, it's motivation. It's motivation to keep going. It's motivation to know that, you know, the work that we're putting in behind the scenes and in practice and the day-to-day is actually paying off. And, you know, I'm excited for more. You know what I mean? Like I said, we haven't done nothing yet. We've just shown that we've improved over the last couple of years, but I think as we continue to work, then, like I said before, sky's the limit.
Jalen, for anyone at home who maybe has said, all right, like the Pistons are on a little early, we're out here on the West Coast, or maybe I can catch the highlights a little bit later, what's your message for folks who haven't yet tuned in to Detroit basketball and what you all are building?
I'll say if you haven't yet tuned in, I think you're missing out. If you are a basketball fan, if you like basketball, then I think you would love to watch us play. Yeah, tap in. You know what I mean? We got a lot of great players, and it's still early. It's a lot more excitement left to be had.
Heck yeah, I can second that. They've been one of the most fun teams to watch all season to start this early year. Jalen Duren, we really appreciate the time. Hard to believe we're still in November, but today we're officially 3 weeks into the season. Yay, which means it's time to check in with our weather reporter for a little windy watch. The 4 cities he's watching closely. Brian.
It was already snowing in Milwaukee over the weekend, but we're not focused on that. We're focused on the rim, because I want to alert you to something that's going on with Giannis Antetokounmpo this season. We know the guy likes to drive to the basket. He is taking it to a new level. He has 55 dunks in 11 games. 55. That's an average of 5.5 a game, okay? Shaq, the most recorded ever in history is Shaq with 3.5 a game. He's averaging 2 more than that.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's go south. Obviously, you think I'm going to be talking about Wemby when we talk about San Antonio.
Oh, we're building a castle.
We're going to talk about the guy who's getting overlooked a little bit here, Stephon Castle. Last 3 games, guys, he has 37 assists.
Ooh.
And De'Aaron Fox has come back, and he is still running the show. He has been terrific as their playmaker. Now, his outside shot, he made that one, been a little suspect, but his playmaking has been awesome. Let's go to the desert, guys. Let's point out that the Phoenix Suns have won 5 of their last 6 games, and Matt Ishbia promised and even made some little wagers that his defense was going to be better. Well, guess what? In this 6-game stretch, they're number 4 in the league in defense. They have been getting it done. Mark Williams, their offseason pickup, is doing well. Devin Booker is setting them up. Keep an eye on those Suns. They're in a friendly portion of schedule. Now, the last one, how about the Orlando Magic? Now, they got off to a rough start down there in Disneyland, but Disney World, I guess. But the last 6 games, they've won 4 of them, and in that stretch, they're in top 10 in both offense and defense. This is a team that has struggled scoring the ball this year, but they've gotten a little bit better. Desmond Bane with a big shot last night, put them over the hump. They've got a big game coming up with the Knicks.
Are you going to do the Guitar Hero?
Come on.
You are good. Come on, Wendy. Come on, Wendy. Come on, Wendy.
I play the bass.
Oh,
there we go.
Wendy's coming in on the bass. And that's Wendy Watch. Now we go to Shanae with sports. Here is tomorrow's star-studded ESPN NBA doubleheader. You got the Magic that Wendy put on his watch. Take it on Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern. And then it's out to OKC, SGA and the Thunder, hosting Luka and the Lakers. I'll be on the sidelines for that one. Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq tip off our coverage at 6 o'clock. Now let's revisit the biggest story of the day in the NBA.
Breaking news out of the NBA. The Mavericks are firing general manager Nico Harrison.
Defense wins championships. We really feel that defense is our calling card and what we're going to hang our hat on.
Thousands of people chanting for you to be fired. Why shouldn't you be fired?
One, I think I've done a really good job here. When you have 20,000 people chanting fire Nico, I use the word awesome. We feel that defense wins championships.
You've made it very clear defense wins championships.
I did know that Luka was important to the fan base. Sometimes trades take a little longer for you to really see how good of a trade it was. You'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Okay, so none of that came to fruition, but the man who reported this earlier today, Shams Charania, back with us now. Shams, now that Nico Harrison is out, what can we expect to happen now with the Dallas Mavericks?
Malika, right now there's a lot of internal conversations. You have Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi, their current executives there. They will assume co-interim general manager positions, but the Mavericks are now going to undertake a full comprehensive search for the next head of basketball operations. And there are significant decisions that need to be made in the immediate future and moving forward for the Mavericks, because this is a team that's 3-8, one of the worst teams in the NBA. And so what position do you move forward with? You have talented players on the roster. There are teams keeping an eye on the direction. Players like Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Kyrie Irving even on this roster. This 2026 NBA draft is the last draft they control their pick until 2031. So do you go younger? Do you build more around Cooper Flagg and a younger group? And one name to keep an eye on for the head of basketball operations is Dennis Lindsey. He's currently in Detroit. He used to head up the Utah Jazz. He also was an advisor for that 2023-2024 Dallas Mavericks team that made it to the NBA Finals. And so who's going to be calling the shots, making the decisions on the direction of this Mavericks organization? That's what Patrick Dumont and his ownership group will now handle.
Dennis Lindsey, a name to be watching in all of this. Shams, thank you so much for that insight. You just laid out a lot of questions, Shams, that aren't going to be answered today, right? This is something that's going to happen over the next several weeks, next several months, even as we get to and past the NBA trade deadline. But we can answer right now, Brian, is this. The Dallas Mavericks play tomorrow. They face the Phoenix Suns. What are you wanting to hear between now and then, and who is the first voice you're going to be listening to in the wake of all of this?
So I actually want to hear what Cooper Flagg says about this. Yep. I know that this is a lot to ask for an 18-year-old to handle, but I think he actually is at the point, especially with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving sidelined, if he wants to, he can sort of set the agenda for the way the team wants to react to this. This is going to be his role going forward. This reminds me so much of what LeBron went through his first year in the league. He was on a team that was overmatched. He was playing point guard out of position, and things happened to that team. There was an ownership change. There was midseason coaching change his second year. So Cooper Flagg actually has an opportunity here to show a little bit of leadership for an 18-year-old. I don't expect it, but I want to see what he does. The other thing is the Mavericks have been beaten down here. They need an attitude change. This gives an opportunity to change the air around the team. There's still a lot there on the table for them for this season.
You know, starting the show with this news, Malika, you talked about the idea of the pressure from the fans